Here it is. Inshallah, we have been studying the rays, 15th rays, the fruits of belief. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة اعين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء رب اجعل هذا البلد آمنا وارزقنا من كل رحمتك رب لا تذرني فردا وأنت خير الوارثين حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Two editions which form a conclusion to the 10th topic. Okay, this is
I can read, Brother Ali, if you want.
Yeah, of course. If you want, please go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We are on page 272 of the rays, continuing on with the first. 12 years ago, I heard that a fearsome and obdurate atheist had instigated a conspiracy against the Quran, which was to have it translated. He said the Quran should be translated so that everyone can know just what it is. That is, he hatched a dire plan with the idea of everyone seeing its unnecessary repetitions and its translation being read in its place. That is, he hatched a dire plan with the idea of everyone seeing its unnecessary repetitions and its translation being read in its place. However, the irrefutable proofs of the Risale-i-Nur proved decisively that a true translation of the Quran is not possible, and other languages cannot preserve the Quran's qualities and fine points in place of the grammatical language of Arabic. A true translation of the Quran is not possible, and other languages cannot preserve the Quran's qualities and fine points in place of the grammatical language of Arabic. Man's trite and partial translations cannot be substituted for the miraculous and comprehensive words of the Quran. Man's trite and partial translations cannot be substituted for the miraculous and comprehensive words of the Quran, every letter of which yields from 10 to 1,000 merits. Every letter of which yields from 10 to 1,000 merits. They may not be read in its place in mosques. I'm not sure what this part means through spreading everywhere, the Risale-i-Nur made the fearsome plan come to nothing. I surmised that it was due to the idiotic and lunatic attempts of dissemblers to extinguish the sun of the Quran on account of Satan by puffing at it like silly children, having taken lessons from that atheists, that I was inspired to write this 10th matter while under great constraint and in a most distressing situation. But I do not know the reality of the situation since I have been unable to meet with others. I guess we can pause here, sort of go over what the author mentioned. I think some of it is straightforward, where people trying to prove that, I don't know, sort of finding flaws in the speech of the creator of the universe. And so pretty much if my premise, or I've already made up my mind, where I am saying that I will deny the source of my existence, then I'm sorry, somebody speaking. Does anybody want to speak? I'm here. Okay. So if I'm already set up my mind in terms of denying the source of my existence, then I will do everything I can to what you say, disprove something, to make something illogical. And so, just like the author here mentioned, that by disguising as doing some meaningful work, where, hey, let us perhaps study the Quran. As per the author, someone tried to just maybe say how ridiculous it is with the repetitions that are mentioned in the Quran. Like, why would you have repetitions? And I know last time we did mention something about like repetitions are not repetitions per se, but this is pretty much how the order of the universe works. This is how our human journey works, where if you look into tasks, they may seem like repetitions. So for example, sunrise, sunset, you wake up, you go to bed, you eat, you go to the bathroom and all that stuff. It may seem repetition, and that's pretty much the whole human journey. So there's no such thing as something being repeated. So I got that part, but the part which I didn't catch was when he's saying here, man's trite and partial translations cannot be substituted for the miraculous and comprehensive word of the Quran, every letter of, okay, that part I got it too, but there was something where, which, let's see, translated for them, they may not be read in its place in mosques. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that part. Every letter of which yields from 10 to 1,000 merits, even that piece. Maybe it means that the meaning it carries, every word carries 1,000 meaning. They may not be read in its place in mosque. And that's pretty much my little share out here, but would love to hear if anybody wants to contribute. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now, the text is about the translation of the Quran into any language other than its original form or original language. And of course, with the translation of a text like the Quran, the author says it's impossible. Yes, it is. But if someone doesn't study the Quran, wouldn't know what is missed when it is translated into another language, because not only the words, even the letters, the way the words are pronounced, etc., has great meanings, but this can only be known to those who study the Quran deeply. So, for example, if we study the work that the same author presents to us is the miraculousness of the Quran, where you will see that even a word, the situation of a word in the sentence has great different meanings. So when it is translated, of course, this aspect of the Quran will be missed. When it is missed, then the translation will show that there are many things repeated in the Quran in a nuisance way. I mean, we understood this one, but how about the contextualizing it with the structure of the sentences, with the structure of the words, with the structure of the connection between the words and coming before and following afterwards? Really, it is a very, very interesting study. If you want to get a glimpse of it, one has to study the miraculousness of the Quran, which is a separate book, as it is presented to us as a commentary on the Quran, and to see the sequences of the words and the great meanings ingrained in this sequence. That is why some people say, okay, read the Quran, of course, without saying that they don't know the Quran. People, ordinary people, don't study the Quran. They are not aware of what it is saying. Of course, everybody will say it in his own mother tongue. Even the native Arabic speakers nowadays, they speak of modern Arabic, has nothing to do with the Quranic language at all. I mean, I don't think they will understand better than any English speaker. But they think that I'm familiar with the word, and it is the modern meaning of the word, dictionary meaning of the word, and they think I understood it. That is more dangerous than, at least an English speaker person says, I don't understand. So that is the reality. So some people makes this excuse in order to claim that the book, in fact, read the Quran and you will see how a simple book it is. Yes, it may seem to be so, but still it is useful to get a glimpse of it with a good intention. But we have to always know that the translations should always declare that this is a, I believe it is not the exaggeration to say that really it cannot be more than a 10th, if not 30th, 40th of the real meaning of the verses. So when you go into the details, you understand that there is nothing is repeated, but different aspects of the same truth is really presented to the attentions of the reader. So he says from 10 to 1,000 times merits that the original languages. Of course, it is understood, it can be understood in two ways. Recitation of the Quran is advised, especially by the scholars and the Prophet himself as well. Recite the Quran. There are many hadith narrations advising people to read the Quran, but the Quran, not the translation, because reading the translation doesn't show the merit of the Quran. It gives a very general picture of or map of the meaning of the Quran. For example, going and seeing a country is different from seeing it on a map. So translation looks like a map of a real countryside. But when you go to the countryside, you see everything is, oh, come on, completely different thing. The pleasure of it is completely different. That is why we have to understand that by reading the Quran, we get really rewarded because of our good intention. It doesn't mean that we understand it, we confirm it, but of course, that is an acceptance that I'm reading the words of the words of my Creator, words of God, speech of God. So paying respect to it goes is transferred to acknowledging God himself. But the second meaning of this merits of the Quran, thousands of merits of the Quran, lies in it, in the reality that each word in its location. That's very important. There are quite a number of studies in the history of Muslim scholarship. They studied the rhetoric of the Quran, and they emphasized on the importance of the sequence of the words, and also the word like where, fa, is, iza, kane, yakunu, this kind of connecting words. I don't know, it is technical word, conjunctions or something like that, it is called in English, greatly changes the meaning of the whole verse. But it is incredible, only after we study it, we can admire the beautiful meanings deeply rooted in the rhetoric of the language. Beautiful. Of course, this scholarship is not really available to everyone, but what we can do, we can just keep in mind that if you study Fakhruddin Razi's book, which is available in English, the commentary on the Quran, and also Nursi's first trial on the on writing the commentary on the Quran, Miraculousness of Quran, which is incredible. When you read it in one word, sorry, so not word, letter, how many meanings have been transferred? You can say really thousands of merits. You can find it because of the deeper layers and layers of meaning. And if you understand the Arabic language, you will definitely, Quranic Arabic, of course, you will definitely appreciate the beauty of it. That is why people don't realize when they read the translation what they are missing. But let's say even they get a tenth of the meaning of the Quran by reading the translation, that is something. But we have to be aware that what we are reading, it is not the speech of God. It is just a very, very narrow understanding, not the translator's understanding is narrow, but because of the limitations of translations, however the knowledgeable the translator is, they may choose the best option, the most important meaning in the language of the words of the Quran. They may choose the best option, but it doesn't mean that they can choose 10 or 100 different layers of meaning in translation. It is impossible. We have to bear in mind it. If you ask somebody to read the Quran in translation, we have to definitely remind that this is just a glimpse of the message of the Quran. Only after you study it, you will get to know it. But can you? Somebody may say that the Quran is very clear. Yes, it is very clear in its language, but you have to know it. Quran explains everything clearly. Correct, it does. But if you don't know the language of the Quran, you cannot get it. You can get only, let's say, a tenth of it or something, a fragment of it. That's what we have to do, nothing more. But this problem among the Muslims, especially these secularizing agents in the Muslim communities, especially administration, that time when the author wrote this text, there was a trend by the government imposed on the people not to print the Arabic version of the Quran, but Turkish translation of the Quran. And the same state who hates the Quran encouraged people to read the translation of the Quran, so that they will understand that, oh, it is not that sacred, because of the ignorance of the people. They are politically very heinous people. They know what they are doing, really. So Nursi is attracting the people's attention that there is a trick in it. Even they tried to read the Quran in the mosques in Turkish translation in that particular case. In a translation form, they imposed it. And the author is really giving the message to be aware of this political trick, cheating. Thank you. So second edition, I don't know if anybody wants to make more comment, they can. Otherwise, Fariha, you can read the second edition or continue whatever you want to do.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. So let's continue on. If nobody has anything to say, Bismillah. Second edition. After our release from Denizli prison, I was staying on the top floor of the famous Shahir Hotel. The subtle and graceful dancing of the leaves, branches, and trunks of the many poplar trees in the fine gardens opposite me at the touching of the breeze, each with a rapturous and ecstatic motion like a circle of dervishes, pained my heart. Sorrowful and melancholy at being parted from my brothers and remaining alone. Suddenly, the seasons of autumn and winter came to mind, and a heedlessness overcame me. I so pitied those graceful poplars and living creatures swaying with perfect joyousness that my eyes filled with tears. With this reminder of the separations and non-being beneath the ornamented veil of the universe, the grief at a world full of deaths and separations pressed down on me. Then suddenly the light, Muhammadan, peace and blessings be upon him, reality had brought, came to my assistance and transformed my grief and sorrow into joy. Indeed, I am eternally grateful to the Muhammadan being, peace and blessings be upon him, for the assistance and consolation, which alleviated my situation at that time. Only a single instance of the boundless effulgence of that light for me. I'm eternally grateful to the Mohammedan being, peace and blessings be upon him, for the assistance and consolation which alleviated my situation at that time. Only a single instance of the boundless effulgence of that light for me. Only a single instance of that boundless effulgence of that light for me, like for all believers and everyone. It was like this. By showing those blessed and delicate creatures to be without function or purpose, and their motion to be not out of joy, but as though trembling on the brink of non-existence and separation, and tumbling into nothingness, that heedless view so touched the feelings in me of desire for immortality, love of beautiful things, and compassion for fellow creatures and life, that it transformed the world into a sort of hell and my mind into an instrument of torture. By showing those blessed and delicate creatures to be without function or purpose, and their motion to be not out of joy, but as though trembling on the brink of non-existence and separation, and tumbling into nothingness, that heedless view so touched the feelings in me of desire for immortality, love of beautiful things, and compassion for fellow creatures and life, that it transformed the world into a sort of hell and my mind into an instrument of torture. Then, just at that point, the light Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Does anybody want to say something? Okay. The light Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, had brought as a gift for mankind raised the veil. It showed in place of extinction, non-being, nothingness, purposeless, futility and separations, meanings and instances of wisdom to the number of the leaves of the poplars. And as is proved in the Risale-i-Nur, results and duties, which may be divided into three sorts. The first sort looks to the all-glorious maker's names. For example, if a master craftsman makes a wondrous machine, everyone applauds him, saying, "What wonders God has willed! Blessed be God." Similarly, the machine congratulates the craftsman through the tongue of its disposition, through displaying perfectly the results intended from it. All living beings and all things are machines such as that. They applaud their craftsmen through their glorifications. The second sort of the instances of wisdom looks to the views of living creatures and conscious beings.
So shall we talk about the piece we read? I would like to point out some interesting thing here. If we really look at the meta, look at the universe as if it is a source of torture for our feelings and our reasoning, because everything is beautiful and they are dying and the end becomes meaningless. So only through the light of Muhammad and reality, the light of Muhammad and reality, then can solve this problem, because through the explanations that we receive through the Prophet Muhammad, the revelation explaining the reality of existence, although we see the reality, how it works, but we see the creation, the world, how it works, but if we don't really get a right attitude to understand what is going on here, everything becomes really the source of sorrow, including our own life. Oh, I'm getting old, I have nothing really done yet. And then we say, oh, afterwards I'm going to die and all my efforts will come to nothing. And this despair to human feelings is killing. There is only one way to get rid of it: interpret the creation of the world as it is, wonderfully presented to us in the way that they are created, but we don't know how to really interpret it if we don't understand that they are created consciously by a being which is not, simply speaking, within the universe. It means the whole universe is his work. So the first thought here explains beautifully that gives the example, the machine, wondrous machine, somebody makes it. Of course, there are two ways of appreciating it. While looking at the machine and saying that, oh, this engineer, whoever makes it, craftsman or engineer, is a wonderful man. What a wonderful machine it made it. But even more subtler point that, as he points out here, through the tongue of its disposition, through the tongue of its disposition. But when we look at the machine itself, the way the machine operates also declares that my engineer is a wondrous man, very conscious man. He knows what he is doing. Man or woman, doesn't matter, a person. He knows what he is doing, what he has done. The machine itself witnesses the greatness of its engineer. That is what we are learning here. But we can only learn how to read the tongue of disposition of the machine itself. We have to understand that this machine is made by a conscious being for a purpose to fulfill, to demonstrate the qualities of its maker. And its maker, although you cannot be seen in this within the universe, but must be somebody who is conscious of what he is doing. So this example explains us that we have to look at the universe under the guidance of the message that we receive through the messengers, and try to make sense of the beauty, meaningfulness of their existence. And then we can easily transfer the really torturing and the painful side of the world as far as the human feelings are concerned, that they are beautiful and they are dying. They are beautiful and they cannot stay as beautiful. They cannot sustain their beauty. But if we know the wisdom in the creation, we understand, of course, through the message of the prophets, we understand that the purpose of making the things, anything in the world, is beautiful, full of wisdom and very useful purposes. We understand that the purpose is not really to appreciate the creatures themselves, but through the creatures, we appreciate the creator. And the point we understand, as the message explains us, and it makes sense to us, the purpose of making the things beautiful is to demonstrate the qualities of its creator there, and we can see this beauty as a promise from its creator that he will satisfy my expectation of permanent beauty. It is just a demonstration. It is an exhibition hall. It is a fair. The manufacturers bring their productions. So they will say, look, if you want, we have many more of this, but prepare or fill in your order. We will send it to you. Like this, in the fair, that's how it is. So the universe is a fair. When we understand that, we can appreciate, even they die, we say, okay, they fulfilled their function. That's what I got from the piece we read lately. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm thinking on the analogy of the fair. Universe is a demonstration. Yeah, the demonstration is nice. Stuff here is good. We want it, but we know it's just a sample. So I guess we fill in order for the real deal rather than samples. I mean, I do want samples like as well, because if I don't try the samples, like, I cannot, the samples won't satisfy me. Maybe that's the point with the analogy. Okay. Any comments from anybody? Okay, so let's move on to the second sort. The second sort of the instances of wisdom looks to the views of living creatures and conscious beings. Looks to the views of living creatures and conscious beings. Beings each become an agreeable object of study, a book of knowledge. They leave their meanings in the sphere of existence, in the minds of conscious beings, and their forms in their memories, and on the tablets in the world of similitudes, and in the notebooks of the world of the unseen. Then they depart from the manifest world and withdraw to the world of the unseen. They depart from the manifest world and withdraw to the world of the unseen. So they're coming from the world of the unseen and displayed here in the manifest world and depart to the world of the unseen. Okay. That is, they leave behind an apparent existence, but gain many existences pertaining to meaning, the unseen, and knowledge. It's an interesting, powerful sentence here. They leave behind an apparent existence. So the manifest world is an apparent existence, but one can gain many existences from the meaning, that how we perceive things here. Yes, since God exists and his knowledge encompasses everything, in the view of reality, in the world of similitude, yes, since God exists and his knowledge encompasses everything, in the view of reality, in the world of believers, there is surely no non-being, extinction, nothingness, annihilation, and transitoriness. While the world of unbelievers is full of non-existence, separation, nothingness, and transience. That is taught by the saying which is on everyone's lips. For those for whom God exists, everything exists. And for those for whom he does not exist, nothing exists. For them, there's nothing. In short, just as belief saves man from eternal extinction at that time of death, so it saves everyone's private world from the darkness of annihilation and nothingness. Why is it saying private world? Whereas unbelief, and especially if it is absolute unbelief, both sends man and his private world to non-existence with death and casts him into infernal darkness. It transforms the pleasure of life into bitter poisons. Let the ears ring of those who prefer the life of this world to that of the hereafter. Let the ears ring of those who prefer the life of this world to that of the hereafter. A little weird statement here. Who prefer the life of this world to that of the hereafter. I mean, of course, after knowing something, then if you prefer the stuff in the exhibition hall, then that's messed up. Let them come and find a solution for this, or else let them enter belief and be saved from these dreadful losses. Let them come and find a solution for this, or else let them enter belief and be saved from these dreadful losses. Let the ears ring of those who prefer the life. Okay, so yeah, if you know something and now then you're preferring to choose the life of this world to that of something this world points to, then yeah. Let them come and find a solution for this, or else let them enter belief and be saved from these dreadful losses. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save that which you have taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. This is from Quran chapter, I don't know the footnote must say it, chapter 2, verse number 32. From your brother who is in much need of your prayers and misses you greatly. Sighed Nursi. The end. Well, interesting points. I mean, for those for whom God exists, everything exists. And for those for whom he does not exist, nothing exists. For them, there's nothing. That's the thing here. Have to find this, or have to connect with the source of existence. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time here. Otherwise, that's what it means. I don't know. Does anybody? I'm sorry. This is just a little powerful and heavy, so I'm still thinking. But if anybody wants to share your thoughts, that would be good. I think this is just a very prominent statement that Brother Ali highlighted. It's
that's correct. That's correct. We understand that in order to be able to grasp the eternity of our existence is only possible by attributing our existence to its source of existence, which by definition must be of the absolute qualities, infinite qualities. If someone doesn't accept this, there is no way for this person to understand that the creation is meaningful and it will be really transient on private level. It means if I really say that I exist myself here within the universe, but I happen to be in this way, not purposefully arranged by a conscious being, my existence. And it is a sign, my existence is a sign pointing to its creator, so that as a conscious being, I will attach my existence to the Creator. If someone doesn't believe in God, he has to suffice himself with understanding and enjoyment of this private life, private existence. Private is not secret or something, no, pertaining to its own bodily existence only, nothing to do with the conscious maker and functioning as a signboard to demonstrate the qualities of its creator. So his mind, his feelings will not be able to attribute their existence to a conscious being so that they will say, this conscious being is the absolute one, infinite one. Look at the universe, how it is perfectly arranged by him, demonstrating his qualities to us, to me. So if I belong to this conscious absolute creator, it means he brought me into existence out of his mercy. And why he would give my existence an end and make it meaningful, meaningless, absurd, then he can grasp that there is a purpose in our existence. And my existence is not private to me. No, it is a demonstration place, exhibition place, demonstrates to the absolute creator, to its absolute creator. That is why it is important to understand the virtue of belief in the hereafter only after believing in God and appreciating the Creator's news that he promises also, not only through creation, but also in his verbal explanation that definitely the eternal life is waiting for us. That is the only way that we can really breathe comfortably and feel secure in our existence and life. That is the only way. That's what I got here. That's my understanding. If anybody wants to say more, otherwise we can continue and pass the other.
Thank you, Brother Ali. Can we expound more a little bit on eternal life? Because this universe seems wonderful, and sometimes I don't want to leave the universe. That's the only platform I know. But I think when the human feelings go through, I guess, looking for some eternal satisfaction, then I realize that nothing of this universe satisfies me. So there must be an eternal life. As in, how we say the universe is just a sample. Can we say the universe is a sample for an eternal life? Because I was thinking, hey, I need a snapshot of the eternal life.
It is a mirror demonstrating that I am a glass, but what is reflected in me is the sun of, the source of the light, which is the sun in this example. This is just an analogy. So this is the sun. So in its existence, it demonstrates the huge quality of the sun, although it may be a small existence. So if the mirror is a conscious being and thinks that I exist by myself and it happened to be some light reflecting in me, does not really acknowledge the sun and saying that, when I am broken, there will be no light, as if everything will turn into darkness. So darkness means meaningless end of the whole universe. When I die, the whole universe will become really dark, meaningless, nothingness. So this person, like in the example of the mirror, cannot really appreciate what is reflected in it, because he assumed that its existence is only a mirror. That's it. Light, a little bit light is reflecting in it. It happened to be in this way by chance, or in any way, naturally, something like this, instinctively, for example. They made up many words for it to explain it. None of them really satisfies human consciousness. But unfortunately, if someone is obstinate not to accept the creator, then he has to suffer for this. But practically speaking, when you look at the people, they don't really seem to be suffering at all. Yes, outwardly correct. They are not suffering. But if they sit for a moment, or if anybody else reminds him, or anything happens, that somebody dies who is close to him or her, and then this person is shaken. But that's human choice. I may say that, yeah, for example, my brother died, and I say, okay, my brother died. How about me? No, don't touch. I exist as I am now. Finish. Now, I may take this attitude, God forbid, and I may not take any reminder from this event. Yeah, that is my choice. That's why I am free. On the other hand, even if I believe in God, if I don't attribute to things, the creation, any situation that I am in, to the infinite being, absolute being, the creator, I look for satisfaction within my own living conditions. But yes, personally, materially, you can obtain the satisfaction as far as your bodily needs are concerned. But how about your spiritual satisfaction, the satisfaction of your feelings? You cannot get it unless you bear in mind or remind yourself that you belong to the absolute being. So as this absolute being brought me into existence for no reason as far as I am concerned. It means I didn't ask, I didn't pay, I didn't do anything. I found myself being given an existence and a life. If we start from this, the Quran emphasizes on many verses that think of your beginning of your existence. Think of your the first day you came into this world out of a small cell, not a small cell, really a particle or an atom, just maybe a molecule, whatever, out of this. And this molecule cannot exist by itself. So think of it. Who brought you into existence? The same one is taking you out of this existence. So claiming that I believe in God and the creator of the universe is not enough. I have to attach my whole life to him. Whatever happens to me under his choice, I have to ask for full satisfaction. But temporary satisfactions are a means of experiencing the full satisfaction as my feelings are expecting to have. If I don't make this connection to the creator, I will think that as long as I get what I want in this world, I will be fully happy. But look at the people. When they have it, are they really happy? When they die, you will see them, how happy they are in their life, in their being, just because of the definition that worldly existence needs to be satisfied, and then worldly existence is in the grave now. So we have to wake up, inshallah. I don't know. Any
Thank you.
more comments? So we have only 1 minute left.
This was helpful. Thank you. As far as recognizing your human needs are concerned, I was wondering, does it get triggered from satisfaction of worldly needs as well? Because that's how I get to know my human needs as well, when I realize nothing of this world satisfies me. Because I think that's what's lacking, at least. Well, what I notice even within myself is reading my human needs, because worldly needs, we're just after worldly needs when they get satisfied, but then sometimes through these worldly needs, and this is what I'm wondering, like your experiences, everybody can chime in, through the worldly needs, when I realize that they're not the source of what I'm seeking, or they don't satisfy that which my heart desires, then I'm living with my human feelings. So what I'm trying to say here, at least in my case, I realized that I can only recognize my human needs through going to the worldly needs experiences. I was just wondering, can it, I don't know.
But it cannot be the aim. It should be the means. That's what we may miss up. Well, we really mix that. It is if it is an aim, then you think you are going to get the satisfaction, but it will disappear. But if you look for the pleasure, whatever it is, as a means for eternity, it means I am going to experience through this, for example, delicious food, then I will understand that the Creator is really entertaining me. This is a promise, demonstrating it, that's it. But if I say, if I have a beautiful meal or very, let's say, good car or something else in my life, whatever, if I get this position, or I don't know, whatever the people are imagining that they will be very happy if they had it. So when I aim at it, saying that if I have this car or whatever I am imagining as to be the source of happiness for me, I will be satisfied. That is just cheating myself. But whatever is created, whatever the Creator has given to me, I should utilize it, use my free will, whatever I need, but don't impose myself on the Creator that if He has to create this, because I know if I get it, I will be satisfied. That is just not really matches according to the definition of the Creator and according to my reality. I cannot make anything happy or unhappy for myself, but one possibility that if I deprive myself of the reality, the connecting to my Creator, I deprive myself of happiness and cheat myself, saying that if I get this car, I will be really satisfied. Everyone will admire my car, etc. Whatever the stupid example it is. But anything of this world is has the meaning of worldly expectations. It means seeing the car as a source of satisfaction and saying that if I have the car, I will have or if I have this house, I will be very happy. That is what we have to be very careful, inshallah.
Thank you, Brother Ali. One last question. What is my private world? Like the author mentioned here, at the time of death, which says everyone's private world from the darkness of annihilation. What is he meaning by?
Yeah, I understood the question. We have mentioned that private word saying that I exist by myself as I am, and that's it. It happened to be, I happen to be in this way. It means I am not really attributing my word, my existence, to my creator. Whatever happens to me, to my that it is the choice of my creator. I just asked and he created me. Whatever is good for me, he created. Whatever is not good for me, he didn't create. I submit to his will. And I accept that he knows what I need because he created me out of his mercy with no payment, nothing in return from my side. So that is why the private word means not connecting yourself, simply saying, not connecting yourself to the creator of the universe, making your existence, I'm happy, or I am lucky that I exist as a human being. That's it. I am to enjoy it. That is my private word.
Can you also say personal, private / personal? Then I would understand what you said.
The translation of the private word, you may be better off with the word your personal, disconnected from its creator word.
Okay.
That is what it is. What is that? It's changed here. Just a minute.
You can go back. Yes.
I see. Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So I think
I don't know.
We can stop here for today. If anybody has any comments, feel free to share it out.
Yes, inshallah.
Inshallah, we will continue next week, Sunday.
This letter. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alim al-hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum an alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.